Hi, my name is Aman, and we have Vijay Sora with us. We are discussing about the use case for shaantabAI, which is a not AI product by Design Laboratory. So, hi Vijay, can you walk us through?
Yeah, hi Aman. So I hope you're doing well. We also have Kripa with us to explain the product. So first of all, let me tell you what shaantabAI is. shaantabAI is not an AI application in the sense that it behaves like an AI in the sense that it can understand your human language and it can perform actions, but it is not really guessing the words in the traditional transformers architecture. All the skills that Shantabai can perform, it has to be manually hard coded into them by developer from the respective domains. So what happens is there is a full accountability as well as acknowledgement is given to the developers who teach any skills to Shantabai. So that's what it is. And you can use it for general PC management, or we can connect with Azure or GCP or AWS. We can even control microcontrollers, or we can shop for things on it.
Okay, thanks Vijay. You talk about accountability and all those stuff. We'll go and explore that as well. But when I was exploring your website, there are multiple use cases mentioned. So can you walk me through to get a better understanding? I think that will clear what exactly you guys are doing.
Let me first explain how we can use Shantabai on any platform. Shantabai CLI is available for Windows as well as Linux, and also we have an Android app. There is also another version of Linux which has been compiled for ARM boards. So what you need to do is go to shantabai.com and go to chat and simply search for how to use Shantabai on your Windows or on your Linux, and you will get the link to download the binaries. You can copy them at any location where it's convenient for you, or just copy them to your path and just call it using Shantabai in your CLI. What we will do right now is we'll try to troubleshoot a Windows performance issue wherein my machine is a little bit slow, and I'll try to figure out what is causing the slowness. Now, you might be aware that the reasons for Windows being slow could be due to high CPU activity, due to high disk activity, or due to high RAM usage. So I'll simply type why is my PC slow, and it will try to check if any of these three are causing the issue. This is a test machine which I have made slow artificially using SS internals tool CPU stress, as you can see. And it does show that it is causing a lot of CPU usage. Let me try to kill it. Okay, the process has been killed. I will also check what is using a lot of RAM and what is causing a lot of disk activity on my machine.
Yeah, this is great, Vijay. Let me take a pause. So I remember the initial days when we used to look into Windows whenever it is slow. And so when the PowerShell arrived in the industry, a lot of focus shift to how you can run commands and get things done. So this looks pretty good where we are simply talking in English and the product is actually interpreting it to the machine where it's a human talking in a normal language and the operations are happening. So pretty interesting.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to add that eventually we will be targeting all the languages. It's just that due to resource constraint, we are only sticking to English for now. But as we grow, as in very quickly, we will support each and every language that we can.
But it really looks good that you don't need to remember the commands and it will be very user-friendly way to understand your machine. I think it's a upper layer in integration with your operating system where you are actually giving inputs in layman English and it's giving you the output. So great. So now can we look into some more serious constraints where you talk about cloud because we know cloud are the trending stuff right now. Everything is moving to cloud. So what exactly we are able to achieve in that domain?
Let us
Okay.
try to create a virtual machine in Azure, okay,
Mhm.
using Shantabai. Now, in order for us to set it up to work with Azure, we need to create a service principal identity. If you want to check the steps, you can simply ask Shantabai how to set it up for Azure, and it will give you the
Mhm.
instructions. Those have to be done manually to get the application ID, the client secret, and all. But once it is done, then you
Okay.
can use Shantabai app. Okay, so yeah. I've already got those details. I'm logging into shaantabAI now,
Mm-hmm.
or rather, I'm logging into Azure from shaantabAI right now. And by the way,
Okay.
whatever information you're providing here, it is not sent to shaantabAI server at all. It remains on your machine. And you can check using any kind of monitoring tool what goes out and what doesn't.
Okay. Interesting. This would be my next question, but you already answered it. So we might discuss this once you show me how things looks like when you talk about Azure infrastructure creation.
So here I've logged into my Azure account, and this is a free account that I've created for the sake of demo. I do not have much
Mm-hmm.
there. Let me see what all resource groups are available. Okay. Now, in order to create a virtual machine, we need to understand what region is available, what kind of operating
Mm-hmm.
system is available to us, how much RAM we want, how much memory we want. We can directly search it in shaantabAI based on our requirement, and it will give you a list of machines along with the pricing for it. Because it was a free subscription, so there are a lot of restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, I had to manually go to Azure portal and figure out which image size will be supported in my free subscription. But otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I think in pay as you go, it would be very simple. You just figure out what your requirement is and search for the machine size, enter the region and the resource group, and you should be done. And as you can see, it
Oh,
created the virtual machine for me.
oh, this looks great.
For now, we only integrated with Azure, but anybody can teach the skills to connect with AWS or GCP or any kind of. Let us also talk about private server management, wherein you're managing your own private cloud. Now, you will be using it to either host microservices using Dockers, or you might be hosting virtual machines. Let's see how we can set up Dockers on our private server. Log into shaantabAI. So here I'm installing Dockers on my machine, and I intend to host a Node.js website on Docker. So I will search for a reference image which will allow me to do that. As of now, we do not have any skills created which will allow us to create all the configuration, but it will be done pretty soon. And similarly, we can teach skills to manage Hyper-V, VMware, or Quemu, which will help us manage the entire private cloud ourselves.
Okay, this is good, Vijay. One more part which I saw on the website, which looks really interesting to me about microcontroller. So, how we are doing that? Can you show me?
Okay. So for now, the microcontroller usage is a side effect of the part able to run shaantabAI on Linux. So that is a side effect. We will soon be working on the software that can run on any kind of microcontroller, ESP, Arduino, anything. But for now, let us see how
Mm-hmm.
we are using Raspberry Pi with Diet Pi OS. I have it on my machine. If you check the setup, it is a pretty simple setup. I've got a relay module which is connected to my light bulb, and it is
Mm-hmm.
controlled by the GPIO pin number 14 on my Raspberry Pi 02W. And yeah, what I'm doing is I have got Termux installed on my phone and I am doing an SSH into that Raspberry Pi. And I simply type which pin I need to pull up or down, or rather, which pin to turn on or turn off. In my case, pin 14. And you will see that, yeah, you can see that the bulb will turn on or off based on the command.
Yeah. Oh, this looks good. Cool. So I think I understood so far is the product actually holds a lot of capabilities when it comes to the automation part of it. And what I personally like is the human interface part. It's like the way you are talking to someone, your colleague, or someone you regularly work in your work environment, right? The kind of instructions we are doing. So this looks good. Can you give me a little bit of understanding on the previous topic where you were talking about the data remains in the machine and all about the privacy stuff?
Okay. Okay. So privacy and economics are interrelated here. Okay. Let's try to first understand what data goes to Shantabai servers and does not go to Shantabai using an example. Now let me try to ping a website. When I just check the connectivity to a website, it asks me which website I want to ping. Now you can use any network monitoring tool and you will see that the website name that I'm entering manually, it never goes out to our servers. It all runs locally. On the other hand, if I type that check connectivity to google.com, this query will come to our Shantabai servers, where our server will try to figure out what we are trying to actually achieve here. And this information goes out to Shantabai server. Okay. Now let's talk about privacy. First, whatever is sent to Shantabai, we don't save any kind of context, okay? Only failed or misfired chats or the one which you provide feedback for, that is being saved by us so that we can fix our model to reduce the misfires and add on skills that are in demand. But you don't need to believe in anything that I want to say about how the data is being handled, because regardless of whatever I say, even the biggest giants have seen data leaks. Okay. So let us
Mhm.
talk about economics. Now you can ask your strength and weakness to your favorite AI product, and you will see that it actually does provide that information to you. Let's not even talk about what will happen if a bad actor gains access to your account. Let's just talk about the most obvious business case, which is to suggest products and services by understanding your preferences. Now, an H200 GPU by NVIDIA costs $50,000. So that is $350 per user of VRAM is used just figure out your preferences. In Shantabai, we do not keep any kind of user context, as in the context is there, but it's there locally and it is handled in a very different way. We do
Mhm.
have shortfalls due to it, as in since it does not have the context, you cannot ask any follow-up questions. But then we are working on it and we are working on it in a way that no data comes to Shantabai. Okay. And yeah, all the questions that you ask Shantabai, as I said, they are treated differently. Only thing familiar to context is the local variables, which do not come to us. It stays local to your machine. Okay.
Cool. Thanks for giving an explanation about the privacy part. On the website, you did mention about the service marketplace. So can you explain us what exactly is that?
Okay. So service marketplace, again, you can use normal human language to find out any services that you're needing. And it doesn't take anything special. You just need to complete your profile in Shantabai. If you are a provider of any kind of services, it can
Mm-hmm.
be an online service or even it can be an offline service. If it is an offline service, what you need to do is you just enter the kind of services that you're providing. enter the area in which your services are provided. It can be anything. You can be selling groceries, or you might be a shop owner, or you might be into the service sector, a plumber, or anything like that. You just describe your service and the area in which you can provide, and enter the radius in which you can provide the service. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, your profile is created. Now, for use case, I am creating my own service profile, fixing consumer electronics, AC, etc. And your profile is submitted. And now you can go to our app. The app is not online yet, but it will be online in now, mostly by this week. We are just doing some look and feel stuff. But yeah, you log on to the app, or any user can log on to the app. And if he's looking for a service, yeah, he will search for the service that he's looking for. And the service provider's information will be displayed with phone number, email address, and the geolocation. You can
Oh,
also directly contact that service provider using that contact option.
this looks pretty good. Okay. Now, I think we cover most of the points, if I remember correctly, which is mentioned on the website. So, what is the current status of your development? Where exactly you stand?
So right now the infrastructure is almost built, as in there will always be some or the other improvements, but the entire application in itself is ready. Whatever the skills that you saw right now, it is a major chunk of what it can do. Okay. We need to teach a lot of skills to
Mhm.
Shantabai, which we are doing as fast as possible. And additionally, what we are requesting is anyone can teach skills to Shantabai. It just takes 10 to 5 minutes to learn how to teach us skills. And since we do not have enough manpower, we plan to provide royalty to people who teach skills to Shantabai. That is, that they get a portion of our earnings depending on the usage of whatever skill that they have created. That is when we start earning, of course. For now,
Mhm.
our focus is mainly on improving our software. So now, as you can see, the kind of skills that we are creating is mostly related to the things that we do day to day to manage our software. You can see, I'll also show you a
Yeah.
simple skill that we are using right now in MongoDB. I need to do a lot of search, right? And I do not like to remember the command. So I've simply created the skill to search the database for a specific term, and as you can see, using human language, I am able to perform the search.
Okay. Good. Thanks, Vijay. One last thing which I'm pretty much interested in. Do we have any external dependency?
There is absolutely no dependency for this software. Okay, this is not running on any kind of cloud. It is a private cloud that we are using, and the backend AI model that we are using is also local. I mean, there's absolutely no dependency except for electricity, of course, which we can't generate. Even when we have to scale up, we will be going with
Mm.
the development of our own load balancer, and even energy
Okay.
infrastructure will be our own. And
Okay.
that's the plan.
Okay. Good. Good. Thanks, Vijay. So, thank you. This explanation does help me to understand your product better. And I will say I all the information which I need, I got it in this session. So I'm good for now. Thanks for your time. Any closing comment you have before we conclude the session?
Yeah, not specifically. We are looking for people who will help us develop skills so it becomes an little purpose AI that can be used for by everyone. And in addition, we are also looking for MVP user who will use our product in their production. As I said, right now we are only working on skills that we need. But if we have an MVP
Mm-hmm.
user who would like to include AI capabilities in their software or in their service, or would like to create a chatbot for customer service, then we are open to do
Mm-hmm.
that. There would be no charges because it is still in preview, and we are focused more on learning right now. So yeah, that's
Good,
about
good.
it. Thank you, Aman.
Thanks, Vijay. Thank you.
Kripa,
Thanks for
do
your
Yeah.
you
time.
have
Thank you. Thanks,
anything?
Vijay.
Yeah,
Thanks, Aman.
thanks, Kripa.